All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. Going to be getting into a small 4-game slate. We do have a game going on right now, a France game between Chicago and Detroit, just kind of a fun thing there. But yeah, we got this small 4-game slate. There is some injury news I was kind of waiting on to get before I came out with the video. Obviously, with being a small 4-game slate, kind of crucial to get that news before you start the video. So let's go ahead and get into it. So looking at today's slate, we do know Kevin Durant's going to be out. Booker is going to be out. We got news that Chris Paul is out, and that was one of the bigger items of news that we were waiting on. We are still waiting on news for Rudy Gobert, okay, and also Jaylen Brown. Now, I am kind of under the assumption that Jaylen Brown is going to play, practice fully on Wednesday. But if he sits, then that changes the whole dynamic of the slate. So I'll touch on that as well. So basically, if Jaylen Brown were to sit, then we would be looking at Jason Tatum, who has just been going off, okay? Last time out against Golden State Warriors, though, he did struggle, only putting up like 40 fantasy points, okay? And Jaylen Brown actually went off, but if Jaylen Brown is still out, then we're looking at Marcus Smart. Although that is a higher price tag, I do still think we are going to be able to get around 30 to 35 fantasy. But yes, the biggest item of news that we are still waiting on is going to be Rudy Gobert. If he does sit, Anthony Edwards would become a great play, but now he's currently questioned. Okay, so let's just put it this way. If Ant-Man and Gobert sit, Russell would be the play. It'd be a very cheap price tag for a guy that's going to have about a 30% usage rate. It'd be a very high usage rate, okay? Kind of been struggling production-wise, but at this price tag, you just kind of have to play him and hope that he gets like 40 DK points, because I would say that would kind of be what I'm expecting at that point. And now if those two both sit, then Kyle Anderson is firmly in play. If Gobert sits, then Kyle Anderson is still firmly in play. You know, he's been going off the last few games, 49 and 50 DK points. Just been extremely efficient, really. 11 rebounds the last two games, 8 and 10 assists. You know, just been really efficient basketball there. And so at 5.6, I don't think the price point has really adjusted enough. So I bet he's going to be someone that's popping up as a value play for us. And then Reed as well. Reed is someone that had 26 minutes last game, 28 DK points. At 4.6, he would also be someone that is firmly in play. And then lastly, it was not Nathan Knight who was getting the minutes, backup center minutes. It ended up being Luke Garza. So if we can get Luke Garza again about 17 or so minutes at the minimum price, that would also be someone I think is going to be worth looking at. All right, so now that we touched on all the injury situations, let's go ahead and get into the value report. So as it sits right now, the FanDuel values that we are going to want to be on are going to be Lee for the Suns. Okay, and that's because CP3 is out, Devin Booker is out. You know, that kind of makes sense. Cameron Johnson is popping up there as well. Very cheap price tag there on FanDuel for Cam Johnson. Projected for minutes wise for both of them, 23 and 24 minutes. So, you know, at those price tags, that does make sense that they're popping up there. Al Horford is someone that would also benefit with Jaylen Brown off the court. Given the price tag on FanDuel, yeah, that makes sense. Josh Hart popping up there. I wouldn't say Josh Hart's like a must play. Marcus Smart, decent play. Yeah, so Jaylen Brown, we have him currently projected to play. And yeah, he's a little bit priced up, I would say. But on FanDuel, not. On FanDuel, you are just trying to play Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown went for, you know, almost, he just went off against them the last time, the Golden State Warriors. I kind of expect that to repeat. So yeah, I would like Jaylen Brown a little bit more on FanDuel, especially given that high over and under, 241. That is a very high over and under, so I do want to be chasing. And then looking at DK value, okay? So DraftKings value, Looney popping up there again. It seems like Looney's always kind of popping up there. Torrey Craig as well. Those are two players that seem to always just be popping up value-wise on DraftKings. Draymond Green, Melton. That's a little bit interesting. They're definitely cheaper and nothing like too crazy. It's a 4-game slate. We got to try to make stuff work. So let's just take a peek at the OF index, see who we should be prioritizing. And really the first like low price play is going to be Anthony Edwards, and then Nurkic, and then maybe Draymond and OG. I kind of like that actually. Okay, so we'll probably plug those players in. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ownership. So obviously with this video coming out a little bit later in the day, we can really get a good indication of what's going on ownership-wise. So we can see a lot of people are going to be starting their lineup out with Anthony Edwards. It seems like we're just assuming that Gobert is going to sit, and thus Edwards at 8.9 is a very strong price point play. Even if Gobert plays, that's still not a terrible price tag for him either way. And that's really it. Let's go ahead and sort by projected ownership. Lee really getting a lot of chalk. That's fine. Josh Hart, I don't know if you need to eat that chalk. It's fine. Precious as well. Cheap price tag for him. Anthony Edwards, yeah, just like him. Prince, currently questionable. Got to make sure he plays. It could be someone worth looking at. Kyle Anderson. I figured Kyle Anderson would be like more higher owned than this, honestly, on this small 4-game slate at 5.6. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that doubles once we get confirmation on Rudy Gobert's status, him being out. Obviously, if he plays, that changes it. All right, so just pretty interesting there. Let's go to FanDuel. All right, so looking at FanDuel, Lee is also the highest projected owned player on that slate. Then Edwards, very cheap price tag for him there. Kyrie, considering his price tag is only $200 more in drafting, that is a cheap price tag on FanDuel. Smart popping up there. Van Fleet, yeah, that's a very cheap price tag for Fred Van Fleet on FanDuel. That makes a lot of sense. He's been going off lately. I think that is a play that you need to be going out of your way to play if you are playing on FanDuel. You're probably starting Van Fleet, Lee, Edwards, and that would be the starting point for me. Let's see what else we got. Then it's just pretty much spread out decently. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into kind of the first look build. I think we got the projections down pretty much. Let's just see if there's anyone popping up that is low owned that shouldn't be. Reed, I'm fine with him on FanDuel as well, especially if we do get news that Gobert is going to sit. Obviously, if Anthony Edwards sits, then you're going with Jaylen Noel just across the board. It would be too cheap at that point. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into kind of the lineup process. So yesterday at the end of the live stream, hopefully you guys were there for that. That is something we want to do more frequently. Okay. But looking at it, we know that we want to go Lee. We saw him really popping up there value wise. All right. 28 minutes in the last game, 13, 15, and he has been getting 17, 17, and 19 DK points. So yeah, we would certainly take that at 3.2. And then some other guards. Obviously, we have Kyrie who's popping up, but I would say on FanDuel, he's a much better play. On FanDuel, you probably should be playing him. We have Anthony Edwards really popping up there. 8.9. I'm fine paying that price tag for him. Continuing on, Marcus Smart's fine. I don't mind Marcus Smart on this slate. That's kind of it. Let's go ahead and put Edwards into the shooting guard spot. So it does feel like we are being forced into pay up at the guard position today. So looking at small forwards, I like Kyle Anderson, but that is assuming that Gobert sits. We just need to get confirmation on that. Currently questionable. It was the front end of a back-to-back, and that's probably why he sat. So if he does play, wouldn't it be shocking if he sits? Wouldn't it be shocking as well? We just need to get that news. All right. So Josh Hart was popping up, remember, on DraftKings, and then Torrey Craig as well. So at the small forward position and power forward position, let's just go ahead and plug those two in because they should be fine price point plays. So here's the thing with Hart for me, and it is a 4-game slate, so I'm perfectly fine with him. That's kind of it. I just don't think we are going to get a ceiling game. So if you are playing GPPs, like sure, could he get 40, 33 DK points? Sure, I guess, but I think the expectation should be 25 or so. Okay, and on a small 4-game slate, I will take that. It's not something I want, but it is a weird slate in which I don't feel like we're getting that many gung-ho plays. Like I need to play this guy. So yeah, Torrey Craig, last game out wasn't a pretty one really for the whole Phoenix Suns team. So really we just need them to keep this game close. If he does, or if they do, he should be able to get around 25, maybe even 30 DK points. For now, we'll plug him in there at the power forward spot. And center-wise, we did see Precious really popping up there. And we can see why, on a small 4-game slate to get someone that could easily 5X, we'll just take that, take that any day of the week. And now we have a decent amount of salary left over. I like Fred Van Fleet. I like how well he's been playing the last 2 games. I will chase that recent upside. Okay. And hopefully the hot hand continue. Chasing 50, maybe 60 DK points. I'm fine with that. The issue is that his floor is not that high. If it's he's definitely overpriced, if he does what he does on half of the other game. Okay. So 16, 33, 31, like it is risky, but at the same time, the GPP upside is there for him. Okay. I like that approach. And then Draymond Green was popping up there. I don't love Draymond Green tonight. The price tag is kind of cheap though. Okay. So if we can lock in 26 DK points with the upside to go for 40, sure. Yeah, we'll take that. I don't expect that against Boston. A really good game. But then we have 10.7 left over. Like we could go Curry, could go Damian Lillard. I actually like Damian Lillard a little bit better today. So then we have a little bit of too much salary left over. Can we pay up from Draymond Green? Sure. Maybe Gary Trent, maybe OG. I'm okay with that. I don't love that. But that's all for today's video. Kind of a simple slate, but also a slate in which we just need kind of the news from Rudy Gobert and Jaylen Brown. Assuming they're both active, then it makes the slate less appealing. If one of them sits, if Jaylen Brown sits, then we're going Tatum, we're going Smart, Al Horford. That makes the slate a little bit easier. If Rudy Gobert sits, then we're going Kyle Anderson, and we're going Reed. So it would make it simpler if one of those 2 players sit. But that's all for this video. Just a reminder, if you guys enjoyed the coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. If you guys want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, make sure to click the links in the description below, as well as we have a link to the Discord chat below, which got a few hours before lineup block. So make sure to get in there and get your questions answered. All right. Thanks for watching. Let's have a good slate. And as always, good luck.